Pa 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 pa. Excellent. My stream is running. I want to double check that. View your channel. Yeah. Okay. So, I don't know who's here that watched the first stream. This was the sketch I did in that stream, and I liked it. I thought, I liked the kind of place we built out, and then I thought on it more, and I was thinking, this is cool, but it doesn't feel like it fits in with the game thematically, right? And I also remembered that in the game itself, there is like a whole bunch of very detailed locations just in the game that I could have like easily used as reference instead. I'm not going to sketch it again because I already did that, but I will show you the reference I used in my screenshots. Where is it? No. Saves pictures, and then I can go. I should have brought it up before, but there is this place in the game called, I believe it's Stain's Arms and Armor, or Stain's Arms and Armory, or something. I can't read that sign over there perfectly, but I was looking through the locations in the game, and I just booted it up and went through my copious amount of saves to find a place where I think it would make more sense to set this illustration. So I have this location, and I used it as reference, and I sketched in my own time, completely invalidating the work before this. Well, at first I sketched it like this, and then I used some perspective guidelines in this, and it looks much better, and that's because I suck at drawing on stream, but I'm still going to do it anyway. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this location. In the old version, I was thinking of putting Chloe here, but as the drawing, the sketch that I made, or the location I found, was in a different location, I used the party member that you had at that time in the drawing instead, just to make it feel more settled. But I won't be going over any details, because I don't want to spoil people, or any more than I do just by showing this. But today I think I want to get this drawing more polished into a finished state. So yeah, that is the goal. So you can see I have all of my layers, right, with all the different pieces that I used to clean up the drawing. So I think I haven't done a proper color in a while. I think we should start by, here's the background. I think we should just go behind everything. In fact, let's just go outside of this layer, and let's turn off. I have a couple bits that block out the background. So where are they? I go that and that. There isn't a white backing on these lines anymore, so you can kind of see what I drew behind. And I think that will It looks more confusing now, but there was like there would be white splotches if I drew color underneath that. So we're just gonna do color lockout, and we're gonna start taking this. And I have the reference on my other monitor. I don't know if I should put that on the screen or if it matters too much. But yeah, we're just going to be getting like rough colors. So I think we want to start with probably the backgrounds. So I'm thinking, first of all, can we move that up a little bit so you can get bigger layers here? And we just want to start, I think, using this flat pen, this fill mono pen. I like this because it doesn't react to pressure sensitivity. So we're just going to use that, and we're going to grab a nice like woodish brown, and we're going to use it to rough in some colors, right? And we'll go over with more detail to set the scene better later. Yeah. So this is probably gonna be a bit monotonous. I feel like maybe I could use my lasso tool a little bit here. We want to just get, I think, a rough section of all of this and just, where is it? Fill it in. Yeah. Fill that in. You can see there's a white dot there. I don't know. That's on this layer. And we can just erase that. Okay. So we'll start with that, and I think we'll just continue using the lasso tool to kind of block out these sections, and we'll go into more detail later, I think, right? So let's see, we want to do here, we want like a nice gray stone for this backdrop, but we want it to have a little bit of saturation just so it doesn't look boring. Let's go with a kind of warm color, so more of an orangey gray, like that, I think. And we're just going to lock that in to these areas, and we'll clean up the edges later. Yeah. This should just help me get like a general idea. Over here we can select this again, and where is it? Let's go bucket, refer only the editing layer, I guess, and we can do that. And Control D deselect, so it's easier to, I don't know how to say. Yeah, so a little annoyingly, holding Alt for the color picker does not work while holding over the lasso tool. It works if I switch to the eraser though. So let's just grab, like, my tablet just needs a little hit to stop flickering. Yeah, so we're just gonna get very rough with it before we fill it in properly, just so that I can get an idea. So we want to go here, and then well, no, we can just pick it. So this is a little like rusted metal, what is it, thing? I don't know. Like a support. So let's go for a bit of an orangey grey. And we can fill that in there. And over here, kind of fill that in. I have a suggestion on my YouTube studio. What does that mean? Something about bitrate? I don't know. Whatever, I'm sure it's fine. Okay, let's just block in some more, right? This pipe over here, I think that's going to be more dark gray. Over here we have like some wooden thing again. Let's just block that in. Over here, so the color of this desk, it's actually got a pattern on it, but the general color is kind of this desaturated light blue. So I'm going to have that as the base color. And then, okay, over here, I'm sure I could do this with, what's it called? The bucket tool. That's a little bit of a gross brown. Let's go for a bit more red. But we want it darker because this is close to the foreground. So we've got this block here, which we also want, I think, that darker brown color, like so. Let's just grab it all, and then we can, on top of that, we can just go, there's a bit of a metal band here, so let's get like a dark gray. Okay. And I think that that helps a little bit with getting the forms out. So how do we want to do this now? Right, Stan's arm and armor, which is how I've written that, even though I can't quite read it on the reference image. It's a very light gray. Let's have it a little orange pigmented again. That's fine, and we'll clean this up in a bit. We just want to block out these colors in the background. In fact, let's hide the characters for right now, since they aren't super necessary just yet. So I think this this base helps us a little bit, right? So I'm going to start just picking colors over here, and then we're just going to be blocking them in more manually with a smaller brush, and that should help a little. So let's, for instance, go for, I can see in my reference we have a bit of a yellowy, like a brass color on these window frames. So we have one here, and sorry if the zooming gets annoying. We have a bit of a brass frame here, and I'm doing this first because if I be a little messy with the lines, it's easier to draw the background over it because that's the larger section. And this brush is a little clunky. This is actually there, and I think these lines are from when I used my perspective grid, and they are not supposed to be there. I feel like I'm doing a poor job of explaining. The perspective, I just used single point for this view, right? I eyeballed it first in my in this sketch here, right? And I used this what is it called? Ruler, and you can go perspective ruler, and you can draw like a couple lines, and that you can create a vanishing point like that. I just have this one hidden because I'm not using it right now. Or what is it? It's, I hover over it with my mouse, I can go ruler, frame, hide ruler, because I stopped using it. But yeah, that's kind of how I got a lot of these straight lines, and that let you draw like vertical lines and horizontal lines as well as these perspective lines, and it kind of makes the pen snap to whatever is closest to the angle you're drawing. So yeah, that helps a lot with perspective, and I think you can do multiple vanishing points with that as well. So let's just grab our pen again. We want to redraw in all of these. Right, we have like a box here, we have a couple barrels back here. We want to fix up this a little over here. This, I think, had a full around band. And zoom in here, and this Fill Mono pen on Clip Studio Paint, which I'm using, it scales with the zoom, right? Or I guess it doesn't scale with the zoom. So I can zoom in to get smaller. That helps a little when I'm blocking out. I'll just clean up some of these lines, right? And it doesn't need to be like perfect. I don't mind a bit of color spill on my drawings because my art style is fairly messy. Or I mean, it is now. I think it used to be a bit cleaner, but it got like too tiring. And I found that it usually looked better when it was messier anyway. So, and I guess part of the reason it looks better when messier is because I'm not confident enough with my drawing or my strokes. So it like kind of lets you imagine which line is the correct line, and see it see the drawing more preferentially. But I mean, it's still a cool aesthetic. Having like messy drawings, so I don't mind, and it lets you draw stuff quicker that you're satisfied with, which is good for, you know, motivation. So we've got a bit of a different brown on this cabinet rack thing over here, and we've got this grey wall which we want to clean up against this plate up here. It goes around here. We've got this pipe here, and yeah, the pen isn't super responsive when trying to draw from off screen or off the page, so. Okay, right, yeah, we've got a lot of mess to clean up here. This line. Anyway, the reason I wanted to kind of get this second sketch a little bit more out of the way before I kind of uh, streamed again is just I I find it very hard to work on like thought intensive drawing, which I think line work especially is, because you're trying to just like find the forms of everything and like work on composition and placing characters and all that in the scene, and it could be kind of like taxing on the mind when you have all of that stuff going on in your head while also trying to talk to stream. And I'm still very bad at talking to the stream, as I'm sure you can tell. So, but coloring I find is a lot smoother of a process. I feel like, you know, I don't need to think as much. Oops, I'm clicking the wrong button there. So it helps, you know, so it's much easier to do this part while I'm on stream than the other part. So I just kind of worked on it off stream. And you know, I think the overall drawing is going to thank me for that, because like I was so much more satisfied with this sketch than the previous one. And not that I'm doing a great job of talking nonetheless, right? Let's grab a bit of a light blue for in here. And I feel like I could be, you know, I should be using the oops. Well, I mean, that's why you don't, but if I I want to refer to other layers, there we go. And that helps me block in these areas of light a bit more. Ah, now I understand why I had these two lines down here. Because the window goes further down. Okay, I need to redraw those then. Let's grab a pen, turn it pen, black, and go background. Where is it? Background. And we'll just eyeball those. There we go. Go back to our color block out. And just paint those in with the turn-up pen. Yeah. And let me go for maybe a bit more of a gray for this display cabinet over here. Yeah. And we want this, I think, I just want to separate it from the wall a bit, which isn't too difficult, even though this is probably not the final color. I think over here we've got a pretty complex set of structures here, and I can see that I wasn't quite consistent with setting these up, or this rack. Let's go for a bit of a cooler gray, just to help separate it, right? And we have kind of flat side to this box, and we'll do the swords on top afterwards. This area, I feel like it's very narrow, where it's not, you know, these beams, but I can paint it in there anyway. And that just helps, I think, add more like dimension, makes it feel more like a 3D space. Over here actually, I believe is more wall, and I have a staff laying in front of it because there is a staff back there in the reference image. And I tried to, I think, utilize the reference pretty closely, you know, other than changing the angle that you're viewing it from. And that just like, I think really helps add clutter and life to the scene. So yeah, and because the original game is like so low resolution, I don't feel like I'm like cheating myself out of creative opportunities by drawing it very close to the reference. I don't know if I would anyway, but it's helpful. I'm not gonna color pick though, because I want to be able to be choosing my own colors. In the center it had some green blades, so I'll draw those. It's very rough. I'm trying to understand what I have here. I think that line doesn't make much sense. That line doesn't make much sense. And I'm going to refine that line just straight down and continue the structure of that blade. And that's kind of a helpful thing when you're in the coloring process, right? It makes it easier to spot kind of like mistakes or breaks in like the continuity of the drawing, I suppose is a way to say it. Yeah, and because these are kind of in the background, I'm gonna have them fairly desaturated. Yeah. These are all just sword guards that I've drawn very roughly, and they don't need to be too detailed either. So over here, these were a bit darker, but we want it more desaturated so it doesn't steal, what's it called? Steal your eye. Right? If I zoom out, I can already see, right? Like this this structure, right, of all of this what's it called? This wood, it already jumps out as too saturated to me. And it makes it I guess that's kind of color grading, right? Stuff that you might worry about more towards the end of the drawing. But if I can fix it in this this color blocking, then that's not too bad of a use of my time. We want a bit darker gray. Yeah, something like that. And then I can see this stuff over here. It's kind of this color. Right, with kind of more like silver metal caps. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be too precise. We just want to make sure we get like the volumes right. Yeah, so this structure in the background, it is a little more wooden, so maybe I'll kind of allude to that with some more orangey colors. I feel like that's drawing too much attention to it though, so like maybe something like that. That feels like a wood, but also doesn't uh, grab your eye too much. And we'll also just have these backgrounds here. So add more dimension to it, right? Right, we have like one sword here that coming down there, I think. And I think this is also too saturated. Let's bring it more towards the gray, right? And I feel like it's probably good for me to draw this from a bit further back. Right, I want these things. Yeah, but drawing it from further back, it helps make sure you're not, wasting too much time focusing on details that aren't really important to the image you want to tell, or story you want to tell, image you want to display, that kind of thing. Maybe the zooming is also destroying the bit rate, so it's probably better to avoid it a little bit. At least as frequently as I tend to do it, right? We have this little like menu thing here. We don't want it to do white because that sticks out like a sore thumb. So we do more of a gray here. It has also kind of some brassy edges. Then we have this. Let's just be using these, right? We have this cash register here. And we will set that up. If I wanted to, probably the texturing, it's kind of darker towards the bottom, but I don't want to be too detailed with it either. So I think that's fine. Yeah, I don't want to get bogged down in the details, I think, just yet. Let's use more of this. What's it called? The fill tool. To get or to block out these areas. Let's grab this brown and let's desaturate it and darken it a little bit for this display cabinet that's back here. I struggled a lot with drawing this display cabinet, right? In the reference image or in the store, there are some like guns on here or some cannons, and it looks pretty big in the isometric view, but it's really small in this perspective, and I couldn't quite figure out how to place it at this angle. So it looks a little janky there, but at the same time, you don't see it much, so it's, fine. We can fill in there and mark down this area again. Yeah, and I think this angle, even though the vanishing point is like about equidistant, maybe actually you shouldn't be able to see behind that. Yeah, I think so. This pipe, I think I want to be a bit darker, closer to this shade. So let's do that. Maybe not quite that dark. Yeah, I think that sets it apart adequately. And where is it? Over here? No, that's this again. I feel like maybe I need to use the fill tool on like all of this. Let's also get some, they're kind of green boots. Let's make one pair of these boots green. This pair. Right? And we'll do that like that. Green here with like kind of like darker, maybe more gray, because these boots are also kind of the focus of the image. These kind of look a bit too military. I feel like I want more of a steel look, or a steel-toed look, and more of like a fantasy green here. So let's bring it towards the teal in that case. And I feel like that's, you know what, yeah, let's make it all this color, right? And we're just blocking it out so we can focus on the details a bit later, right? These boots, I feel like, are gonna be a bit more of a reddish, purplish leather. So we will also block those in. And we have these rubber soles that we are also kind of showing detail of. Right, let me just fill those in, and then let's go for like a almost a black. Right, and I feel like that's fine. I feel like I want that to be the material there as well. Right. And if I bring Estelle back for a second, right? Yeah, that's kind of where she is. If I, okay, we can't do that. Yeah, I think, does this work? Where are some details that I haven't? Okay, so we have over here a little orbal lantern. So we want to use this brassy color, I think, to block that in as well. There probably would be like another of those lights over here. In fact, we don't really see that angle from the game, but I will just draw one in, I think. So let's grab our turnip pen, just because it's a smooth, easy pen. I feel like over here there would be another one of these lights, and it also serves, I think, as a kind of reference, so you know what's going up here because you see a similar shape here that's more in view. And we want, because we've got a slightly up angle, we curve the top and bottom of the lantern like that. And then I think it will have a wall mount that is also on display like that, and I'm just kind of eyeballing the perspective of it, and I feel like that kind of takes care of it. So we want to grab in our block out layer on our fill mono pen the kind of glassy look that's around it, then we grab this kind of dull brass for over here. And I feel like even though they're here, I'm not going to have them as light sources because we have these backgrounds. And I should not have started this drawing while I'm so tired, because I wanted to finish it in this stream, but maybe we'll see. So let's just go. I feel like I want to get rid of the gray on that. And I feel like we've kind of got a good textures going. I feel like I want this shelf. This shelf is going to be the same kind of shelf as here. So let's grab the same color. And let's apply it over here. Yeah. And that box, I feel like, is fine being a bit more saturated. Alright, I don't mind the boxes being saturated. It's just that this is such a large area with like a very high saturation. So let's grab this. Let's bring it that way a little. Not like that. About there. And let's see if I can just refer only the editing layer. I can just, yeah, darken it all like that. Because I have 0 tolerance, so it's not going to spill over to the other similar colors. Yeah, and I think that helps a little bit. So let's also grab over here and let's just block in these sacks over here. And over behind here we have this line, which is the corner of the room, I believe is what my intention was. I had a bit of an issue placing this corner of the room. I think actually the line, I drew it for here, but because we continued the line down in another place, we actually want to get rid of that line. And I think, we do actually need this line here, but maybe bring it further back so it feels more separate. Yeah. Yeah, that feels good. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay. Now, I feel like we want to do some metal bracings because those also need to be in place. Oh, I'm on the wrong layer. Go over here. Okay, yeah, I didn't do anything else in the wrong layer. So we have metal bracings on the top and middle over here. I feel like you'd see a little bit of it back here. I do not mean to just do that. And I'll just dot that in. Doesn't need to be too specific. We also have, where is it? We also have like a metal edge on these lines. I think, yeah, I'll draw those in. Right, on the top and bottom. A little hard to get without the straight lines, but it's fine being a little imperfect. Right, metal edges, it's fine. These also, right, they're more detailed in the game, but I just have them kind of as like boxes, and I think I will leave them as boxes. We have kind of like a silvery band at this level, which we are just going to sketch in. Yeah. And then we also have kind of this bordered a little bit by these kind of silvery lines, right? Yeah, and then it was also, these pillars are edged by it on the lower part. And then we want to go back to this gray. And these sections over here are also supposed to be that. Right? And in fact, these here as well. These borders. Yeah. This sword on the wall, I'm fine with its color, but there is a kind of red, like ornament or something over here. I'm just gonna have it simplified like that, I think. So is this feeling correct, right? I think we want these bands on our boxes here. We want to change the color of this section. Go back to 10 size, right? Because that's one of these pillars. And then back here is more of this stone wall. And over here on this table, in my reference image, it does have a metal rimming, but only on the top, which we wouldn't see because it's not on like the sides of it, of the top shelving part. Yeah, in fact, I think all of this is going to be like a slightly darker countertop, even though it's inlaid with wood. Yeah, and let's go. It has some rivets, which I will place here. Yeah, it seems fine. I hope my audio is not buffed or well, I don't know what I was trying to say. Bad. I hope my audio is not bad. I did not check the first stream. I did. I really should have. Oh well. I apologize if it's unlistenable. and you're still listening. If you're still listening and it's unlistenable, I'm very thankful. But it's fine. I'm doing these streams more just to get into like the mindset of streaming again, into the mindset of talking while doing stuff. I feel like it'll be easier if I start streaming games again, although I'm not sure what kind of games I would stream. Maybe some more linear story-based games, so I don't need to spend creativity on them like I would with, something like Minecraft. Okay. I am going to edge this countertop as well, because it has this metal edging. And we are gonna do that like that. Clean it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna clean stuff up as I see it. Build out this scene a little bit. So this would have that there. Now I can see I'm going to try and draw the pattern, the very geometric pattern that is on this desk, just to stay faithful. It has a kind of gold or brass inlay. And I almost did this with line art, but then I decided not to do it with line art because it was a bit too thin, and I thought it would be annoying, right? So we've got to kind of follow the perspective here, which does not make it easier. Yeah, and I can already see I've definitely, yeah, I'm just gonna have to follow kind of the energy of the patterns here, because I'm not going to be able to follow it correctly, right? So it has this kind of energy, and yeah, so it won't be copied exactly. So do something like that. This, the one that's front on, is a little easier, right? And thankfully I don't really have to draw past over here. There, and it's broken up by another pillar here of this, and I don't need to carry the gold inlay over here. I think that's fine. Now, it also has kind of this maroon, dark red inlay, which I will just use the bucket tool for. Yep. Like this. No, not there. Like this. And over here as well. And then it has a bit of a darker one for these two sections over here. But actually, not quite down here, right? We want to block that off, and we want to bring it in like that. And then we want to fill that in. And that's kind of the general pattern. And I don't think I need to go more detailed than that, but I do think I want to re-go over, where is it? This button. Over this with a bit more of a rich gold color, I think. Yeah, just in some places, because it's almost a gold inlay. Having some kind of like texture, or not texture, shading, or like shine effects and stuff in the inlay is going to help sell it a bit more, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Even though I should be like prioritizing my own streaming, I've been watching another streamer in the times that I would normally stream, or normally want to stream. I say normally stream as if this isn't like the second time I've streamed in as many years. Yes, I'm just gonna keep blocking out these, and I guess I'll have to delegate streaming, or be like actually finishing this drawing to a different stream since I'm getting sleepy. I don't know if it's infecting the energy in my voice much, or if this is just how I always talk. I think we want to grab this gray and just carry over this a little bit. Want to clean the edges here because this like blue is peeking out over here. It's not too important since the clerk is going to be standing in front. Yeah, and that just I think helps. And now I feel like the background, it feels like you can differentiate it properly, right? From itself. I'm wondering now if I maybe, first of all, this I've messed up. Right, yeah, I keep going back and forth on stuff to do. This lines up more with here, and that's the corner of the room. So we want to go like that-ish. That's a pencil, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. I completely lost my train of thought. Yeah, it feels easier to distinguish certain elements than back when I was here, right? So the blocking out helped, I reckon. And I don't want to drift too far into detailing, but I do think when I go here, refer to other layers, I do want to block in shading as well. Even yeah, so now my sure, block shading. Spelled it wrong. Whatever. Now my file or what's it called? Layer management is getting a little messy. I think it's fine though. But what I want to do is I want to grab. Let's go like a purple, right? Go purple. Let's select areas that are probably in shadow, right? And I'm just going to select the whole thing, right? Those all feel like they are in shadow because they are underneath here. And then I think this side of that, the underside of that, over there, we want, I think, because the light's coming in from here, let's also, maybe I should be blocking it out like this a bit, right? And we're going to put this on a multiply layer in a bit. I don't do too much with multiply layers anymore, since I prefer to kind of, what's it called? Choose the shadow colors a bit more actively. But I think it's fine sometimes, right? Especially because I am, this is like a pretty like detailed area. It'll take a lot of time. So it's fine to kind of take a few shortcuts. This over here, I need to go back to my layout and I want to build warm gray. This is supposed to be a sign, or the corner of a sign. Yeah, I think that helps a little bit. Let's go back to our lasso. Choose this color. And we want, I think, the bottom halves of these barrels be in shadow. Yeah. This over here would be in shadow. These sides of the like banisters and stuff, we want shift is add to the selection. And you know, I'll get a bit more rough with the shading here. Alt is minus, shift is plus. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it like this. Maybe take it in here as well. Honestly, all of that. No, did that wrong. Like that. Pretty much, it feels like everything facing away from the windows. Over here, less so, because we already darkened this stuff. Yeah, we want to do that. These are close enough to the windows that I feel like it's fine. These areas, no, we don't want to do that. So yeah, I think that's fine, and we just want to go multiply. Nope. Whoops. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. We want to see, okay. I need to back up my selections a little more. Yeah, okay. Accidentally put a bunch on the wrong areas. You know, it's fine. I think it's a little fast doing it like this, even if it's not as clean. Yeah. We just want to do the side facing away. We want to kind of color in like this. We can still do it like this. Nope. Where's it, Phil? This, you know what? I feel like this might be close enough to the door that it's fine. Alright, the door would let out a bit of light too. So that's probably fine. Yeah. I feel like it's very hard to like overdo it with putting things in shadow, right? Especially when you're doing it like with a multiply layer like that, because people I think really tend to underlight things, right? Right, they're nervous about covering too many details with shadow. But sometimes it's good to just be like bold with your lighting choices, and it can really help drawing stick out more, I think. For here, right, what we're gonna do, we did this, and we did that, and we did that, and actually let's break off that a little bit as well, because these are turned more forward. Yeah, and we also want like thin strips of darkness because these are rounded, so the light wraps a little around these kind of poles. Yeah, and that I think gets enough hit with the light for it to be fine. Those also we want to color in. You know what, and let's actually get a pen and use this to kind of also get some of this shadow block, right? Yeah, and it looks a little odd now, but it'll be fine like in a second. Yeah, I think so. And yeah, that's close enough to the door. I feel like it can stay in light. So now, and actually maybe the edge here, where it's intersecting with the wall, would have a bit of a contact shadow. Let's also go underneath the sword a little. And we don't want to go too detailed, so let's just erase some of it. Yeah, and then if we just switch this to, I think linear burn is very dark. We want to, and multiply adds more of the color in, which I feel looks a little better. We also want to, where is it? Fill mono. We want to get it there as well because that's from the back. We can just clean those up a little bit. Yeah. And I feel like that sets the lighting not too poorly, right? We want the undersides of these as well. The backs here. The backs here, to be honest, as well. And I feel like that handles the lighting decently, right? We can just keep painting in areas where we think on this multiply layer, like maybe we want that down that way a little. There is something on a front layer. I think it's this layer that is what in white by accident when I probably tried to do a small correction, and I think that builds out the scene pretty nicely. Let's bring this background out of that layer so that it's easier. Now, where are these blocks? We don't want those. So it's easier to put these like this, right? One thing I miss, I think, from Krita is I don't think Clip Studio has like erase layers. Erase layers are like you could erase like the layer behind it with a clipping tag, and it's one of these layer modes. I don't think we can use erase here, but that would just help for like blocking out areas and being able to see behind it. For situations like this where I don't want to, where the character is behind something. So I think for right now, I'm going to just add a layer in here, and we are going to, I think, hide all of these. The foreground bits, I feel like we also want out of there. Right, I want to hide them. So let's kind of just grab some kind of neutral. make it purple, that's nice. And we're just going to block behind these characters so it's easier to see their silhouettes, right? Character back, block out, that's not, nah, this is what I want to do. Character, color, base, I don't know, my naming convention is all over the place. 12, size 12, no, we want, size was fine, it was that I was on my eraser. So, you know what I can do, a trick that I've learned, is you can use your magic wand and you can select over here, right? And that selects everything outside of your characters. And you know, maybe we want to grab our lasso and get rid of some areas where we haven't quite completed the lines, right? So that it doesn't like intrude on the section, right? Right, you can see these legs, right, because we didn't close them. So now that it is, oh, and we also want to wand shift add that section behind, and here we've kind of got things. So now that we have those, we can control I to, oops, that's not what I meant. We go select invert selected area, it's control shift I, and we can just fill those in, right? And we can control D. We can use our magic wand again, and we can just grab these areas that aren't supposed to be filled. That is supposed to be. That's not supposed to be. Okay. We just want the normal. Control D. We can block these areas out from our backing, right? And that just makes it a little easier to clean it up. But it also like gives you a fill that is also behind all of the lines, right? If you just use the bucket tool, you can sometimes end up with like white spots around your, or not filled spots behind your like character lines. So we can do that. And now when we put the background bits back in, it you can see the characters jumping out a bit more. We do need to lower the opacity a little bit just so that I can get rid of areas where we don't want to see that. Oops. Control Z. Alright, now I can just delete it. And we can, my headphones are falling for some reason. And we can delete it. And over here, no. We want a bit more specific of a selection, delete that as well. Control D, deselect, and now we can raise the opacity back. Yeah, we still have a couple issues. That's mostly what actually, where is it? Like I have some, this character block out, that's what we don't want. I'm actually going to delete that layer because I'm not using it anymore and it's serving more as a distraction than anything else. Over here, we don't want that part of Stell's leg because her other leg is more forward. Yeah. I think that helps a little bit. Another thing I'm going to do is these lines, it's kind of hard to see, right? If we take this out, and then we can set the whole folder to multiply, linear burn, darken, no, color burn. I mean, that helps a little bit. Alright, so that just lets you see those. I think what I actually want to do though is I just want to set all of this to black, right? So what I can do is I can grab our bucket tool, but only the editing layer, have it black. Let's have it a little bit of a colored line, just so it's not dull, right? We do that and we clip it. So that is now attached to the folder. So you can see it just applies to all of those and makes them this color. And we still have an issue where we're seeing more of this character because she's behind these banisters. So how do I want to go about? Yeah, this is why I want those erase layers, right? Here we want those, right? Yeah, we want to be able to get rid of certain parts of the drawing behind it without having to, right? And that's kind of why you switch things into like foreground elements. For right now though, I think what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna grab foreground bit color. I spelled it wrong, it's fine. And I'm just going to grab these, and they're small. Yeah. I'm just going to draw those in over it. And do the same here. Alright, and you know, it might cause problems later, but it's fine. I'll worry about it when I get to it. So now you can see I'm just going to I'm going to do a sin and I'm going to merge that even though I don't need to. So yeah, like for the final details, or my layers usually end up a mess like this, and I just end up drawing them on top so that I don't have to do too much like finicky work. Damn, I'm really tired. I think I will finish. I did the block in. That's better than nothing. I'll do the rest, I think, another time. Thanks for anyone who did watch the stream. I hope if you're one of the rare people who watched the first one as well, you're not too disappointed. I switched the sketch from what I did on stream, but I'm much happier with how this is turning out. It's like 35 degrees or something in Australia right now. It's probably not that, but it feels like it. And I'm tired, so I'm gonna sign off. Thanks for dropping by.